How is everybody doing today? And in this video, we are going to talk about all the banners that are basically going to be around Mydei's release, and also talking about Mydei's value as well. Looking at the characters that are currently out right now. Right now, we currently have Tribby and Yunli. Realistically, right now, if you haven't already pulled Tribby, then you're probably not going to, unless you're just like for some reason waiting for the very last second to pull, which I don't know who has the fortitude in their mind to do that, which is kind of crazy. If you are doing that, kudos to you, because I literally could not do that. But looking at the characters before Mydei's release and then after, right now Tribby is by far, without a doubt, one of the strongest supports in the game with all that she gives, and also all the value that she gives to a team. She's giving that res pen, she's allowing you to do damage on field, she's raising the damage that enemies take, which is all really good stuff by the end of the day. And like I said, if you haven't already pulled her, you probably aren't going to. When it comes to the characters that are just about to leave, we have a Harmony character that, of course, as everyone knows, will age beautifully, as they always do, because for some reason these are just the main sources of the game's power. Without these guys, the game would be a lot more difficult, and the game would be a lot more stressful if we didn't have characters like REHOO, characters like Rob and Tribby. These are just always the good bang for your buck characters, without a doubt. That's something that everyone has noticed since characters like REHOO have come out. But after that, we do have Yunli. And Yunli, I think, is going to actually be in the same situation as someone like Mydei. Yunli is a character that has been under the radar for quite some time in terms of a DPS, but she is still able to do her job for the most part. She's able to 3-2 cycle the current MOC, which is actually really good for her as an older unit. Not only that, she's just the character that even without weakness, she can do her job just because of how much she hits for. Especially if we start catering into the fact that someone like Tribby massively buffed her with the amount of damage numbers you're going to be getting. With her damage taken, same thing goes for the attack buff that you're going to get, or not the attack buff, but the follow-up you get from Yunli's ultimate. There's a lot of really good stuff that comes with Yunli, and Yunli is going to be that character where you want to pay attention a little bit more to be able to get the full value of her. She's not really an auto character, while the character we're about to talk about definitely is going to be one. Yunli is a really good character. Again, if you haven't already pulled them, you probably aren't, but she's still a really great character overall, and still able to basically carry MOC and some pretty low cycles, which is really good for the most part. She really doesn't have to worry about weaknesses for certain enemies. She really just has to worry how many times are the enemies going to attack, because that's how much I get to attack. That's the only caveat when it comes to her playstyle. But to get into the main thing, which is going to be Mydei. Mydei is going to be our imaginary destruction character, and he comes with a little bit of a weird kit. I'm not gonna lie, it's very different from something that we've seen anywhere in this game, and that is for the fact that he's not able to be controlled. And for the most part, this just means that he's basically on auto mode the whole time after he gets into his enhanced state, which realistically isn't really a problem. I feel like most people, for 95% of the content, maybe 90% of the content, a lot of y'all already push auto, right? So it really wouldn't matter if Mydei was able to do it, but I would like to be able to control the character from time to time, because as you may know, I haven't been able to post a showcase myself, but as you may know, the character prioritizes whoever's in the middle, not necessarily whoever the elite is, which is the only thing I have a gripe with, because that really makes me want to just go ahead and manually play. But because they're in full auto, it can't really do much about it. Mydei does put out some impressive numbers. I have seen a lot of footage, I have seen how he plays, and I understand how he plays for the most part. He hits very hard, and realistically, when it comes to his auto mode, he's still doing the damage to compensate for it. He's able to basically go no sustain, he can go sustain, he can still 2-to-1 cycle MOC at the current moment with his auto mode and how much he hits for. So it really does kind of play into itself, and it really doesn't matter when it comes to the grand span of things of not being able to play him and playing him. But what I do think right now when it comes to Mydei's value is that right now we are put in a hard spot for Mydei, just because Mydei by himself is just a regular character. He just does a lot of damage, plays on auto, and that's pretty much it. But when it comes to the future characters like Castrus, characters like Ananksha, these characters are 100% going to be something that we should look forward to. One thing about Castrus, of course, she is going to be the anniversary unit, And not only that, she's going to bring another remembrance DPS into the game, which I think, like I said before, Aglia was our first taste. Castress is going to be the real deal, I think, for the most part. And she's going to be the big boy when it comes to the amount of damage that she's probably going to do. She's going to be basically Acheron 2. She's going to be in that situation. We're going to be in that era of the game again, where Castress is going to be in a whole nother world. That's what I would think. And not only that, we're also looking at someone like Ananksha. Ananksha is going to be a character for Erudition who is Win, if I'm not wrong, and I could see a world where Ananksha is just another character for Herta. I think that's just the way the Erudition path is floating towards, because if you're not playing Herta, which is very I guess you could say loves Erudition characters, just because she wants more enemies to be hit by whoever she's playing with. When it comes to mini Herta, when it comes to Jay, when it comes to maybe even Argenti, she just wants characters that hit multiple targets, and she kind of benefits from that. She benefits greatly from it. She's also given a crap ton of crit damage to the other Erudition characters as well. So right now it seems like if you're going to be Erudition, you definitely want to be on Herta's team. So I think with them pushing out Herta, I also think that they want to build out the Herta archetype. I think that's legit just how it's going to be called, because she just wants to have everything for her as an Erudition character. I do think Ananksha might be in that spot where he's able to do some type of buff, some type of debuff, some type of thing to help out Herta be able to dish out a little bit more damage than her other counterparts that she has right now, because she does have Jade, yes. But the only problem with Jade is, even if you are adding the debt collector to her, Jade doesn't get that many stacks from Herta specifically. She gets it from Linkship for the most part. And not only that, she's only providing speed. I do think that there can be a character, whether it be in a debuffing nature or a buffing nature, where someone like Ananksha could end up helping out Herta with maybe an attack boost, maybe some type of defense down on the enemy, maybe some pen on the enemy, damage taken on the enemy, adding some type of debuff or adding some type of modifier to Herta to allow them to actually do more damage, allow them to be put in more scenarios than they were previously. I do think they're just going to be building out Herta from here on out when it comes to Erudition, because if there's not a character that's stronger than Herta, you wouldn't be using them for the most part to be able to clear content. Because if you already have Herta, you kind of have the strongest Erudition character already. It's kind of hard to beat the Herta. She's super freaking strong. And not only that, she meshes well with other Erudition characters. So whoever else comes out is just going to be a teammate for Herta. Which is kind of insane to think of, you know? This is the Acheron situation all over again. Where it's like, you have to be really good in Hillary unit to beat me for the most part. Which I think is pretty funny. Besides being just a straight out debuffer, not really a damage dealer. So yeah, I think Erudition is going to be in that spot where Ananksha is just going to be a teammate for the Herta's dedicated team, and then Castress is going to be the big boy anniversary unit for Remembrance, which I kind of knew that was going to be the case. Mydei's in a situation where, although he's a very strong unit, he is in a spot where he's just not needed for the most part. If you already have really great DPSs like Aglia, like Herta, like Acheron, Firefly, Rappa, any of these really good characters that have their dedicated team. Same thing goes for Fei Xiao and the follow-up team. You kind of don't need Mydei. Mydei's kind of in his own world, is back into the foundation of the hyper carry meta, which hasn't seen light in a very long time, unless you're just smacking as many supports as humanly possible, like adding Bronya, like adding Sparkle, like adding Tribby, Robin, Ruame. Adding all of these nasty supports and putting it onto Mydei could potentially work, because he does have taunt. He can revive himself. There's a lot of stuff that he can take use of because of his unique kit, but he isn't in a spot where he can be pulled on, if you know what I say. I really love Mydei's design. I like who Mydei is, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of people who are still going to pull on Mydei, and 100% that's fine, just because he is a very strong character. I just think that Castress and Ananksha are going to be some pretty big characters for not only the Herta, but also Castress herself as a Remembrance character. We're just going to see some big things happen, and I'm even more scared for whatever is going to be drip marketed. But other than that, that's pretty much going to be it when it comes to Mydei and talking about him versus all the other characters around him. I am pretty excited, I'm not going to lie, for the next update. Mydei, sadly, I will probably be skipping because I wanted to go for Tribby, and I didn't necessarily want to go for Mydei, sadly. His gameplay just doesn't suit me, sadly. And not only that, that's really it. And Casters is next. You know, I'm just really excited for Casters too. So other than that, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one. And peace.